Nintendo. Of all the nightmare corporations that would have Cyber John Wick reaching for the nukes, well, they sure are one of them. Okay, let's be honest. As far as evil companies go, Nintendo isn't anything special. As far as I know, they haven't had to put up nets to stop their workers from committing game over, marketed vapes to kids, or literally let AI decide if you're cheap enough to keep alive. Yeah, the world sucks, but thinking about stuff that matters is depressing. So I'm gonna make fun of the Wahoo Man instead, because I have no doubt that Mario would slaughter 1,000 puppies if it would increase their profits by $7. Alright, we'll get started with the whole situation with the Switch 2. If you take one thing away from this video, please let it be this. Don't buy this thing. The Switch 2 itself is honestly fine. $450 is a tad overpriced, but you only buy a new system every 7 years, so it's whatever. The real issue is everything that comes after you own it. I'll get into the $70 and $80 prices in a minute, but I want to bring up that Nintendo's games at $60 are already severely overpriced. And that's not just me being cheap. I swear I have logic for this. Games are generally priced based on whether or not they feel expensive. You can tell playing Red Dead 2 that it probably cost $1 bajillion and thousands of people to make. Just like how playing Terraria, you can feel that it was made in someone's basement with $40 and a McDonald's gift card. But regardless of if you're a Terraria guy or a Red Dead guy, you can understand why Terraria is $10 and why Red Dead is $60, even though Terraria was a better game. The entire industry basically works on that principle that big budget games cost more and lower budget games cost less. But Nintendo is special and their fans are interesting. I'm not totally sure how to word it, so I made this clip that I think sums it up pretty well.
Now, who wants their balls crushed?
Me?
The amount of effort and money that goes into a Nintendo game has literally nothing to do with the price. They figured out that they can price things based on nostalgic attachment alone. Think about it. If your only interest is Nintendo, then no price is too high. Do you really think that this guy is gonna wake up one day and go, you know what? Screw Mario. I'm gonna try Dishonored. What I think the people defending Nintendo's prices don't understand is that, one, inflation isn't much of a factor because of how many more units get sold. This is just the economy of scale. Plus, a digital game has no manufacturing costs, and even our physical games are just digital games in cosplay now. And two, that it really doesn't matter how subjectively fun or good a game is. There is no such thing as a fun tax. I've had more fun in Minecraft than probably every other game combined, but that doesn't mean it should be a $400 game. One of the worst examples of this is Pokemon. Even adjusted for inflation, they were all generally around $40. And then they jumped to Switch and felt special, so then it was $60. And then they realized they can do DLC, so now the full game is $90. And then the next game was atrocious. It was an actual disaster on all fronts. It ran like garbage, it looked like garbage, it had the resolution of a Minecraft block, it had PS4 Cyberpunk level bugs, some of the laziest texturing work I've ever witnessed, and piles of game design problems. Would the fans stop buying? Of course not. The game broke records. Oh, and of course that one had DLC too. But that DLC was new content that they made long after the game came out, which is more work for them. And they have to wait to take more of your money. And that sucks, because they want your money now. Well, they've fixed that issue by cutting out a chunk of the finished game and selling it to you as DLC before the game even comes out. Oh yeah, you'll also need to pay $70 for the base game if you don't want your eyes to bleed from the 12 FPS. This is all something I would expect from EA, but even EA discounts their games to nothing after about a year or two. Nintendo will offer you $10 off of a 6-year-old game if you buy two. But even that's getting shut down because the idea of throwing their customers even the smallest bone makes Doug Bowser sad. By the way, did you know Doug Bowser is a former EA executive? That's interesting. Did he bust out his 2 Worst Company of the Year awards in his interview? They got both during his time there. Now, Pokemon is the worst example of increasing prices and decreasing quality, but this applies to everything Nintendo makes. Mario Kart World set the price at $80, promising that it would have tons of content and a brand new open world. And then the game came out and people realized the open world was boring as hell. Well, what about all that new content? Here it is. Commuting down straight highways for 70% of your playtime. You want to see the actual tracks? Well, you can see them for like 30 seconds at the end of your commute. Exciting. This is what they consider to be worth $80? This game feels like an insult and I only paid $50 because I got the bundle. Nintendo even went as far as patching out a trick people used to actually play on the tracks they came for. You can't even make this up, dude. They are going out of their way to make the game worse. Back in my day, we had Nintendo Selects. Remember that? They would put their best-selling games on sale for 20 bucks. Permanently. Now their best-selling games go up in price because you have to pay for the right to utilize the hardware that you already paid for. Making the resolution or frame rate higher does not mean it should cost more. Watch this. Did you notice something? It didn't even ask for my credit card. Oh, but price gouging new games is only the beginning. Those still require effort to make, but old games, oh boy. Those cost basically nothing to release again, and the nostalgia hits this guy just as hard. Half those Nintendo Selects got ported to Switch, and they just pretended the games were brand new and charged 60 again. Skyward Sword started out at 50 bucks, and then it went down to 20 on the Wii U eShop. And when it got ported to Switch, it became 60. But it didn't end there. They sold this thing, a $25 piece of plastic that unlocks fast travel. Fast travel is being sold as a DLC statue. Are we serious? Oh, and if you thought that plastic garbage was bad, well, now the plastic costs 30. Oh, wait, now it's 40. Wait, sir, a second price increase has hit the amiibos. Now these are $50 a piece. And you'll need 2 of them if you want to make any use of it. Oh, and remember when this company sold cardboard for $70? They really do believe their customers are stupid. And they're right. But you know what I find most offensive of any of this? Nintendo charges a monthly subscription for an emulator. And they even have the audacity to charge extra for some emulators. I genuinely can't fathom a single person on this earth seeing this as a good deal. You get to pay forever for a bunch of games that are basically free. Now, I'm not gonna tell you to start sailing the high seas, but I am saying that Gabe Newell was right, and there is definitely a service problem here. If you're paying Nintendo extra so that you can play GameCube games and you own literally any other piece of technology, just remember that all you're doing is donating money to a bunch of businessmen that hate you. And speaking of Nintendo hating their own fans, where do we even begin with that? How about that they hate charities? You like smashing with your bros? That's illegal. Make a fan game? The ninjas are Naruto running towards your current location as we speak. So you better say goodbye to your cat because you're about to disappear. You think I'm kidding about that? I'm not. Provoking Nintendo is a dangerous game, not just because of the ninjas, but also because I think they have more lawyers than game developers at this point, and they will sue you for more cash than your entire bloodline will ever see. They sued this guy in Costa Rica for being named Mario because his store was called Super Mario. He had literally never even heard of Nintendo Mario. And then there's Gary Bowser. He helped people hack Switches, basically. He's in jail now. He also owes $14 million. He reportedly only made a few hundred a month from his hacking hustle. Is that a cruel and unusual punishment? I don't know. My sister crocheted this for me. It's really cool, but this is a blatant violation of Nintendo's copyright, and I will be reporting her to the Nintendo legal department. It was nice knowing her. You guys know Palworld? Of course you do, it sold 20 million copies. They did what Pokemon could only dream of doing. They made a good video game. Palworld was the first Pokemon game that made me feel something when I accomplished a goal, as opposed to the usual feeling of playing Pokemon, which is that a Pikachu? I like Pikachu. Nintendo hasn't killed them yet, but they've already forced Pocket Pair to remove features, and I'm sure you've already heard about the ridiculous patents that now mean Nintendo owns the idea of throwing balls, and more recently, summons in general. Do you remember when Palworld first came out and the scum of the earth, you know, Twitter users that are allergic to fun, were whining about it copying Pokemon? Well, while they were doing that, the Game Freak scientists were in the lab cooking up their first big innovation ever to the Pokemon formula. Copying Palworld. Who's copying who now? I've seen people in comment sections online suggesting that this is all because of Iwata and Reggie's departure from Nintendo via death and GameStop respectively. And I think that's only partly true. Both of them cared a lot about their fans and the products they made. Famously, Iwata took a 50% pay cut to prevent layoffs during their Wii U Dark Ages, and Reggie fought to make sure Wii Sports came with the console, ensuring that nursing homes everywhere would have something to do for the next 15 years. But I think there's a different core issue here, because yeah, Nintendo isn't being run by gamers anymore.
On my business card, I am a corporate president. In my mind, I am a game developer, but in my heart, I am a gamer.
I doubt any of these people have ever been called slurs in Call of Duty before. But the executives at every game company are notoriously out of touch. Why is Nintendo the one with the out-of-control pricing? It's the fans. It's their fault. Every company is greedy. Saying a company is greedy is like saying that the sky is blue or that pee is red. Yours is too, right? I'm sure it's fine. In reality, every company would charge $80 for their game, or never discount their games, or sell you half the game as day one DLC, or literally sell you cardboard for 3.5 silk songs. The reason they don't do that is because they can't. Their customers would just say no. But remember, Nintendo fans don't have the self-respect to say no. They can't imagine leaving the franchises they grew up with and would rather be ripped off over and over forever than just play something else. They've given Nintendo a green light to charge whatever they want. If you defended Nintendo raising their prices, you're part of the problem. If you defended any of these Switch 2 editions, you're part of the problem. If you defended them selling the manual for the console separately, you're part of the problem. Hell, if you bought a Switch 2, like me, you're part of the problem. Letting this slide and buying their crap only gives Nintendo a free pass to get even worse. So I refuse to be part of the problem anymore. Unless or until things turn around, I'm not buying anything from them again. I sincerely hope you do the same. But if you don't, I have to ask you this question. Where do you draw the line? What would Nintendo have to do to make you stop paying? $90 games? $100 games? $120 games? What if the games were powered by baby seal blood? If you don't even know where that line they can't cross is, then you're not a customer. You're a bank account. Listen, I'm not trying to attack Nintendo fans. I like Nintendo too, but what they need right now isn't support. They're using their goodwill as an excuse to be lazy and excessively greedy. Now I know asking Nintendo fans to give up Nintendo is a lot, so maybe at the very least, consider only buying used, if nothing else than for the satisfaction of knowing that you aren't being treated like a pay pig anymore. Thanks for watching. I promise my next video will be more positive. Like and subscribe, maybe hit that hype button. I don't know what it does, but it's probably good. Stay safe out there, don't forget to drink water, and I'll see you next time.